What is going on, people? I am here for, if you couldn't tell by the title, a dual review. I'm going to review two movies in the same video because they're both put out by the same company. They're both written and directed by the same guy. They're both lower budget films, but totally separate from each other. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of put them together in the same review. They aren't out just yet. Actually, one is kind of out, which I'll get into, but it's not out just yet. I got screener copies of both, so, I watched them, watched the screeners from them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to review both of them. They're both put out by Crude Cinema. Well, on Instagram, it's Crude Comic Cinema, but I'm pretty sure it's just Crude Cinema. But like I said, both of them have not been released to the public yet, except for one, which I'll get into now. The one movie I watched was Texas Death Trippin, but it's the extended, AXE, not like extended, but extended version. The first one, the Texas Death Trippin, is actually on Amazon Prime. That's where I saw it first. But now I guess this is an extended version. I knew I watched it before. I watched it earlier last year, or mid last year. And I'm like, it kind of reminds me of it. So it's a little bit different. It has the same vibe, but it's a little bit different. But this one is Texas Death Trippin Extended version. Like I said, it is written and directed by Robbie Lopez, who also who also wrote and directed the other movie, which I will get into. But Texas Death Trippin also is, it stars Billy Blair, Daisy Coleman, Bartlett Benjamin, among many others. So pretty much what this movie is about is a group of 5 people are on their way to this smoke-filled rock concert, I guess you want to call it. They kept just saying, stoner rock, a big festival. I'm guessing almost like a Ozfest or a what do you want to call it, Woodstock kind of deal. They said it's this big gigantic thing, and right in the beginning, this movie is a horror comedy. It doesn't take itself too seriously. In the beginning, you get like introductions for each of the characters. Like every time they come on screen, they'll do their own little stick, and then you'll see their name and stuff. So that, right in the beginning, I enjoyed. There's one scene that definitely caught me more than others. Let's just say it's the bathroom scene. Little song and dance into it. But anyway, right in the beginning, that's where you kind of learn each character and stuff, which, it's not the, biggest character development or building, but, you get to see if you like each character or not. You get these 3 stoner guys, and then they're talking about how one of them invited this one, internet model and all that stuff, and who knows if she's going to be real. She comes into the whole aspect and whatever. So anyway, now it's them pretty much road tripping it kind of deal. They're interacting with different people on the way. There's a FaceTime that was, I'm guessing it's FaceTime kind of deal. But that was, fun and entertaining, finding another character. But they end up running into this gas station where they ran into this old man that is very creepy and stuff, and he says, don't stay in these parts too long because, let's just say, there are bad people here and bad things happen. And they look up and they find out that in this area that they're going through, there have been murders and stuff. They shouldn't stop there, but one guy constantly tells them, we want to, camp out for one night. I want to make my chili and all this stuff. I want to sit down and camp. And, it's kind of argument. Should they not stop when this guy says, let's not stop here. There's, a crazy guy on the loose. Well, let's just say that might not have been the best of ideas, and you can put 2 and 2 together. I don't want to go way too deep into it, but throughout the movie as well, you have like a dual split. This is like a rough cut, so I don't know if it's going to go exactly the same way if it does come out or on Amazon Prime like the other one, or if it comes out on physical media and stuff. I don't know if it's going to go exactly this way, but there are a lot of like jumps and cuts and all this stuff that's, kind of all over the place. It is kind of, I don't know if they were going for it, but it is kind of trippy. Like in the thing, it says Trippin. So there's certain scenes that are like trippy and cartoonish and all this stuff. But also it jumps from scene to scene kind of deal. So as, you know, you see these people going on their trip, you also get a killer on the loose. There's this guy that, whatever getup he's in, he kind of looks like... Throughout the movie, it's kind of portrayed as a Sasquatch. There are actually two of the Dorkening members, or the Dorkening podcast members, the guys from Still Toking, from their comic book and stuff. They're in it, and they keep on saying there's this Bigfoot killing people and all this stuff. But anyway, you find out that it's pretty much a killer. Let's just say at one point in time, these kids meet, or these adults, or whatever age they're portrayed to be, they end up running into said Bigfoot creature, killer, whatever you want to call it. So the rest of the movie is just the second half. I don't want to go into it. I don't want to say too much, but it definitely takes a different turn that I was like, okay, well, this is something a little bit different. The other thing I like is throughout you can tell that there are some, what do you want to call it? Homages to certain kills and certain movies and such. I saw two that I'm like, okay, this, I know where this is from, and the other one, they did it in their own way, but I'm like, okay, at least in my mind, one of the kills is from another movie. You're not getting too much as opposed in, like, gore effects. So you see more implied gore, blood splashes, and stuff like that. So at that point in time, and the other thing is, a lot of these, like, lower budget movies, they kind of tend to throw in a lot of nudity to kind of make up for the lack of effects or whatever. This one doesn't really have much of anything, so if you're looking for that, it's not really in this one. But, I'm keen to both. I don't swing either way where it's like I need too much, nudity in my movies to enjoy them, or I don't need any kind of deal. It's different to see something that doesn't exactly need that. But I must say it's a very interesting take on it. I have to go back, like I said, the original, the other one, Texas Trippin, Texas Death Trippin, is actually on Amazon Prime, so I have to rewatch, the difference between them. But that's Texas Death Trippin, Axe Tended version. And then let me pull up the other one, because this one is completely different than it. You go from what do you want to call it? Horror slasher type deal to a creature feature in a movie called Headcheese The Movie. So that, I didn't know if it, had I'm guessing it might have, comics behind it. I have to look into a little bit deeper, because Headcheese The Movie, I'm guessing there's something behind it. But anyway, this is more of a creature feature where you get trolls and stuff. But this movie is written and directed again by Robbie Lopez. Again, it is a lower budget horror comedy. It stars Richie Ramone, who kind of plays himself in this movie. You get Mark Dodson, Liz Hackworth, and Richard Montano, hopefully I said that right, are the top build on this one. So pretty much in the beginning of the movie, you get a lead up, I guess, to the rest of the movie. You get a crazy farmer. There's these young kids that are like spying on this guy, and they end up running and hurting themselves. So they end up going and telling their mother. Well, the mother sends cops over to this farm, this crazy guy. They call him, I can't even think of the name, but he's McDougal or something, but they call him McWeirdo, or definitely getting the name wrong. But it's funny because the cops are actually calling this guy, instead of by his name, where cops should be professional, they're calling him by the town name for him. So anyway, they end up going to this farm, and you find out that, let's just say, he's definitely the name that they're calling him, because he has this, like, they were saying it's like a, over years of inbred and stuff, you get whatever his wife, I guess, is. Anyway, they have these two trolls as kids, like these little puppet things, which actually, to tell you the truth, they were like blinking. The way they looked, I didn't think they were going to be so, I guess, in depth, I guess you want to call it. But anyway, for some reason, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to set you free into the world and go and, wreak havoc on the people that, mess with me and your mother and all this stuff. So 7 years passed, and now these trolls are more grown up, more, I don't know, you want to call it mature. But anyway, throughout the rest of the movie, you get like a dual storyline going on. You got these two trolls that, again, are causing havoc, killing people, this and that. But then you get another storyline where Richie Ramone owes money to this kind of crime lord that wants to be like mayor or something along the line. So you get that storyline where this guy's after Richie Ramone, who finds himself in jail at one point, and now the characters end up running into each other, the trolls and these cast, like the characters and stuff. So it goes from, two separate storylines into one gigantic mishmash of craziness, where you get killer, I'm guessing you call them trolls. They look like goblins kind of deal. Like when I saw them, it kind of reminded me of like the ghoulies mixed with like the hobgoblins and all this stuff. Whatever creatures you would call them, trolls or goblins or whatever, are now wreaking havoc and just trying to kill or meme. Because at one point in time, it looks like they're like playing these weird pranks on people, like something like you would have at a sleepover kind of deal. But then by the end of it, it goes from fun and games to, craziness and death and killing and all that stuff. This one, like I said, is completely different than your first one, where it's more of a slasher killer kind of deal. This one is a creature feature comedy, I guess you want to call it. So it is, completely different. But again, it's one of those lower budgets. So again, you don't see much of anything. You'll see pieces here and there of, gore effects and such, but it's not 100%, in your face kind of deal. You kind of have to think or, put yourself in the situation and imagine it happening, I guess you would want to call it. But both of them, again, are fun and entertaining. Might not be for everyone kind of deal, because nowadays so many people are looking for, the higher budget, I guess you want to call it. These movies are definitely on the lower shot on camera kind of deal. But what they lack in that, it's enjoyable, I must say. It goes, back and forth. Are these movies that I always look out for? Can't say that. But it's one of those deals where sitting down, watching them, they're entertaining. They keep your, interest and all that stuff. And it's definitely one to at least check out. Again, Texas Death Trippin is on Amazon Prime. I'm going to look to see if these are going to come out maybe on Amazon Prime, or I'm not 100% sure if they're going to come out on physical media or not, but I'll leave the link to Crude. Well, I know they have an Instagram. I'll look to see if they have a website as well. Crude Cinemas or Crude Comics Cinemas on Instagram. I'll leave all their, links and everything. I'll leave the link to the Amazon Prime movie, if it's still on there. I'm pretty sure it's still on there. But again, check these two out. When they do come out, I'll find out more information for you and post it in there. But definitely on the opposite side of the spectrum, I'm leaning towards more like a trauma kind of deal. Again, certain people like those movies, certain people don't like those movies. Definitely on the lower budget spectrum, but entertaining nonetheless. I enjoyed myself watching them. Definitely different than other movies I've seen, but I enjoyed myself. So check those out. I'll leave the trailers for them. I believe both of them have trailers. We'll leave those links. Also, like I said, all the other links that I mentioned. I'll also leave anything else that all my other social medias. I got a Facebook fan page. I got a Twitter. I got an Instagram where I show off the movies behind me. I'm part of the Dorkening. Last night we did not have an episode, but every Tuesday night we have episodes at 9 o'clock that stream live. And then throughout the rest of the week, our podcast network has a whole bunch of other shows. I do the Wicked Horror. I'm part of the Wicked Horror Show, which is every Tuesday night. But then just watch and listen. If you're more into audio podcasts, check out the Darkening Podcast Network, where it can be found anywhere that podcasts stream. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed these. Again, check out Texas Death Trippin extended version and Headcheese the movie, and also check out Crude Comics Cinema or Crude Cinema, whatever. Again, check the links. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you enjoyed these reviews, and of course hit that little bell button so you know when I do upload more stuff. I do have another video coming out because I got a few things in the mail that I've been waiting for. Yeah, I guess until next time, I'll see you guys.